Come on. You have actually scan lines on your face, don't you?
Wait, is that working? Yeah, there we go. I selected the wrong
You need to make
microphone
it bulged
input.
out.
I'm prepared.
Like a
Welcome to
convex
Contacts
hole or
Plus.
something. Hi.
Hooray!
Howdy.
We're here.
We're here. Well, we've got
Eventually.
we're one guest short.
And 10 minutes late.
So,
Yeah.
to announce for the one guest short, if he arrives and everything, it might be late. Either daylight savings time would have screwed it up, or he could have gotten pulled into an important science meeting, which is normal. We expect that on him.
Important science
Important
meetings.
meeting.
You should turn
The
off your
science
opposing
scene.
adjusters because it looks like you have multicolored shoes on.
Hey, that's cool too.
Shit.
Clown shoes.
Here we go.
There you go.
No more clown shoes for me.
No more. So, we've got this thing.
Howdy.
Look at this guy.
Look at this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at this bozo.
Look at how outdated his screen is as my whole... There we go.
You klutz.
That was
Okay, of
Raspberry
course.
joining.
Yeah.
Yay.
We have that over there now.
Yeah, we have our actual Twitch chat up too. That means the commands are gonna work
You're gonna
again.
lock it.
Nice.
I'm
Hopefully.
gonna make it ungrabbable now. Boop. Oh my god, did you see all that
Uh-oh.
shit?
Yeah, there's a lot of shit on it.
I can't show that again. It's not gonna let me. Oh well.
It has a lot of shit on it. And I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's not king.
So Matterin, our little mug man, is supposed to be working cameras, but he went to go get eaten foods. Not get eaten, but eating foods.
Matterin, come back.
So he's stuck on this camera mode for now. The Avali is here, who just went off.
I guess I could go do
corner.
that.
Well, he said we'll leave it on this camera. At least we can see everybody, and it's not like
Yeah.
angled up at the at like the ceiling. And as we're trying to like look down at it, just like.
Sorry.
All right, so Raspberry is here. We should actually say who this is.
Hello.
It's Gareth, but his computer cousin.
It's Gareth's computer cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could with this being your like origin on here and you still being new from VR chat, you could just be Gareth's cousin.
Yeah.
Who's Gareth, anyways?
Gareth is
He's a microwave cat.
He's
do we have any objects we can spawn?
Yes, I have a
Final Work
picture.
in progress.
You do?
I have a picture. Where's the pictures? Here it is. From when he was on.
I have been selected.
From when he was on.
Yep.
There it is.
Your name's getting changed.
Here.
Why can't I there we go.
There. That's Gareth.
That's Gareth.
His
Wow.
microwave
They seem to have
is
exploded.
his microwave face has a screen, has like a face on it, but you can open it while the
Oh, that's
microwave is
cool.
going, and then it beams you with beams you with radiation.
nice.
See, there's Gareth. There's our lovely new project,
Oh,
Final
goodbye, username.
Microwave Cat.
It's been a long while since we've seen him. It'd be
Yeah.
great having him on again.
we should get new project back on. I don't know what skeletons are gonna fall out of our ceiling again.
There you go.
Wow. Guess that's my name now, ain't it?
No one can see that on the stream because I turned off name tags.
Oh,
It's
well.
a hidden in-world perk. If you come join
In-world-
us right now.
In world perk, you
can
can
see what I
see his
just
name
did.
tags.
Fair enough.
You
those
you
who
can
can't.
in world perk. You can figure out who this is. Nobody on the stream will know. Just start
We've done
talking.
that before. That's an old joke we've made.
Yeah.
But it's a joke that we can continue to make.
Okay.
I am old. I will take a joke and run it into the ground for 3 years. Just like Brad's wife.
I didn't get that one. That one
You
flew
don't-
right over my head.
You don't know that joke? That boomers?
Boomers. Rocky Horror.
No.
Oh.
Justice.
not that
Justice.
bad.
Justice for Brad's wife.
Okay.
She got
I've
she
heard
got
of that.
she got
but-
fired. She got fired from the Cracker Barrel.
What?
Why did you fire my wife? It was a Twitter thing, I think, or a Facebook thing, and then people just like, we're justice for Brad's wife, and then they started doing a bunch of like posts on it, and then just made jokes and memes about justice for Brad's wife, and then it just got gone into the
How long
ground.
ago was that?
It's old. It's a type of joke that boomers liked.
What? No, it's not that old.
It's Twitter.
It's newer than that.
It's old. It's
Gen
old.
X.
It's old. It's millennial, I believe, would be the where it generated. I can look it up.
I think it's between boomer and millennial. Personally,
I'm gonna look up
we
justice
have
for
6
Brad.
viewers.
Yeah, 6 viewers. I'm looking up justice for Brad's wife.
Continue sub. Of course, I want to continue my sub. The fuck?
Okay, so I have a news article updated 2017. The internet seeks justice for Brad's wife after she was fired from Cracker Barrel.
Oh, I can't because gifted shit.
Let's see. We got story of Brad's wife. That's too long. But yes, 2017 looks like when the news article was on it.
Ha ha ha.
Justice for Brad's
Mod view.
wife. Anyhow, we have a computer. This computer is Genry.
Howdy,
Genry
howdy.
Dominoes. Does that mean we can knock you over?
No.
Where are the
You
dominoes?
drive.
When the dominoes come out.
Yeah, where do you store the dominoes? I don't see pockets.
It's in my top hat.
Really hard
taught
to
me.
read.
Yeah. You can't grab it because you turned that off.
I know.
Just get better eyes.
I wish.
You wish. Okay, so you came from VR Chat.
Yes, I did.
Yes, VR
That
Chat.
shit doesn't work.
Yes. What?
I'm angry.
Is it broken?
Yep.
Big sad.
There's something on the back of it.
Safe mode?
It doesn't. Yeah. Oh wait.
That's safe mode.
Oh?
I don't know.
That's safe mode. Did you spell croissant
But-
wrong?
You
Probably.
probably spelled croissant wrong.
No, I didn't. Look, crossy ant.
Wow. This is. I'm like, all right, who are you? But he's like, no, the croissant doesn't go in his mouth.
I'm pissed.
Look at the command. Look how it's spelled in the command. They probably spelled it differently in the command usage.
Okay, we'll do something I definitely know how to spell.
This is riveting. As Newt's doing this.
Oh.
What the fuck?
It works.
Lift your hand.
Is it coffee?
Why the fuck is the croissant spelled wrong in the commands?
Why? Do
I didn't know it.
you want a coffee?
Sure, I'll take it.
There you go. It's on your hand.
It's just on my hand now. All right.
Modules.
Rampa crashed.
Yes,
We
yes,
are. Our lovely audience is no longer here. The one.
The audience of one.
All right, so we are distracted again with the ADHD, but we need to actually talk about fourth time we figure out you come from VR Chat.
This is not leaving my hand, is it?
No, it's never gonna.
Okay. Anyways, but yes, I used to play in VR Chat. I was in there for like 8 or 10 years or some shit. So I was in there for quite a while.
And
Um,
then you jump ship.
basically, yeah.
You're like, oh, fuck this place.
Yeah, I actually never was on Neos, before it crashed and burned. So I am actually new to this whole existence, basically. And I joined into Resonate about a day or two after it went actually live on Steam. And I have loved it ever since. It's been a lot of fun.
You can just
learning all the new things in here.
learning that you can just like, I want to do this,
What?
and then you do it.
You didn't croissant me.
What the fuck?
Turn off safe mode. I don't know. Maybe croissant's broken. Maybe they don't like your French
Come look at
pastries.
it. I'm learning French.
Yeah, I remember the first day I was in here. I don't even remember exactly what was going on that day, but it was the simple things that I just saw people doing, and I'm like, "Wait, you can what? In game? No way!"
It's like, hold on. Let me just edit your avatar and do this really quick, and just like, oh, here.
stuff like that. Or I think the biggest thing I saw first is importing an avatar. Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, it
Wait,
can
maybe
be
it's
a little.
spawn, but it's inside his head.
It's possible.
I'm gonna reach
I
in
feel
your head.
weird now.
Nothing.
Nope.
No.
Nothing. empty head.
I was gonna be like a magic
Head
where
empty.
you pull out, like, something.
But anyways, I remember like whenever I was first importing my avatar, I was like, no fucking way. It's just you import it, throw textures on if it wasn't there, and then just shuffle the little headpiece and hands together and import. Done.
And click,
Bada
you
bing,
have an
bada boom,
avatar.
You're good. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that was it. Like I imported this avatar day one, and I've still been wearing it. I've done many edits to it, of course, just because I love building up more things.
Now he's
and-
got a croissant.
There's the croissant.
Go. I can't spell either the name and the command.
Yeah,
I seriously misspelled both of those simultaneously. Yeah.
you're our smart goo person.
I'm the one who's like almost gonna graduate from college already.
This is what we're teaching you in college: how to spell
I
croissant
took
and
like
generate.
2 years of English composition and writing. Like,
It went in one ear and out the other. Just stayed long enough for the test.
Oh,
yeah.
I got a mustache. Anyways,
Distractions. We're just already distracted.
Proud of myself.
How long
I am
until?
very easily distracted.
Okay, wait. Madarin went away to get food before we went live. About almost like a half hour ago at this point. Did he choke and die?
Possibly.
Probably on the croissant.
I think he probably went out of his house thinking, "Oh, I can get back with enough time," forgetting that it's like 5 o'clock for him. So traffic. No, it's 6 o'clock for him.
I can get back enough time. I can teleport over there and back. Or
No.
Yeah, basically.
like I ate my
Let me text
pasta.
him.
I ate my pasta, and I ate too many pasta, but I had to inhale that because I was like, "Oh God, I gotta get on."
I ate McDonald's.
Just McDonald, not the fast food. You ate just McDonald.
Ronald
All
himself.
right. Yeah, no,
Wait a minute.
he ate Old McDonald. He didn't, the one that had the farm.
Oh, wait a minute. It's I know what. Okay, Glitch.
What?
You remember how I had that picture of your tail doing that thing?
Yes.
I figured out what happened. I have that mod
Wow.
that prevents dynamic bones below a certain frame rate.
And you were low.
Oh, so it locked it in
I'm
place
constantly
that
at
way.
low frame rate, so now everyone's like, even your ears are like, "Womp."
All right.
Can I
did
change
get
the
all my
frame
mods
rate?
Yes, you can in the mod settings. If you have mod settings,
find
the
it.
mod settings
It's
mod.
called Dynamic Bone Wrangler. Here we go.
Yeah. We're talking about
Cybele.
this is the
Oh yeah.
this is the riveting thing with VR chat. So anyway, bones and food. But that's something to talk about VR chat.
We always bring up food.
Mods.
Oh,
Yeah, that's another thing. Especially back whenever they first implemented EAC, there was not
July
one,
27th
not
of
point
last
nil that you
year.
could actually do anything.
Of course, Glitch knows the exact
Yeah.
number.
Like
It's the day that it died.
the day that
That's the day I'm
The
sure Dale's
day-
population
How-
boomed.
VR chat died.
so VR chat put in EAC, right? What kept you on VR chat?
What's the matter?
So when that happened, I did actually look around a bit. I was looking at Chill Out at the time. I
What's his
hadn't
name?
actually even heard a whisper about Neo, so I'm not very, despite
Look.
almost existing so
In a VR space for so long.
Yeah, I don't socialize too much outside my community, so I didn't know about Neos at all. Hadn't even heard of it. So at the time, I was just like, okay, well, it's like Chill Out, or if I really am desperate, Rec Room. Like, good lord, but you know, it's there.
There to get away from VR chat.
Or if
Yeah.
you're desperate and old
I
as
mean-
fuck, Second Life.
Requiem uses EAC as well, so
Did you just
Yeah.
make this?
I did.
Really?
Yeah, but so I went on to chill out for a little bit. Like just a day. Looked around. There was like 5 players online the entire time I was on, and they were almost all. Hey, a camera moved.
He's alive.
Oh, he's back.
He's finally
He must have
back.
gotten my text message
Welcome back.
saying, "Did you die?"
Almost
He
did.
He almost died. He
Did you
was
get in a
choking.
wreck or something?
No, but just darkness and Subaru drivers, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeesh. Not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyhow,
Yeah. Yeah. But so I went in there, and not only was there only like 5 people online, there were all of those 5 people were in just one like club lobby, and when I got in there, it was like 2 people chilling at the entrance, just talking about whatever. They dipped. Almost nobody left after that, other than the 2 people in the fucking basement just having sex in a public lobby, because why not? Game's dead anyways.
Yeah, I've
and then
done
I was
that
like,
too.
you know,
No, I'm kidding.
maybe this isn't the best place for me. Like, I don't care for that, and it's dead, and so on. Then I went back to VR chat for good ways, just because it's what I knew. I had a lot of avatars in there. I had made a few worlds, so on. So I was actually used to creating just in Unity and such. I
hear a
won't say
microphone
I was
repeating.
the best person at it, I think. Yeah, it's one of y'all twos.
it's the Avali. They always do it.
Oh,
That's true.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Typical.
Oh, I
Typical.
just now realized that this tells what their microphone.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love the little plum bomb.
The plumb
have
bob
another
and
plumb
the
bob.
and the
How
collar.
many years? Or not years, but how long have I known them? How has it taken me this long to realize that is their mic settings?
I don't know. So about fucking in the basement.
Plum Bob.
Yeah, so I
I
went
don't
back
know
to
why my mic echoes.
I went back to VR chat. I still wasn't as active as I once was. That was both because IRL stuff, and then also just it wasn't the same after that point. So I kind of started to get a bit more distant. I do some things, especially with the community I was in. I was part of the murder mystery community in there, based a bit off of Danganronpa. We built a lot of maps for it as to like play our games on. But that's basically all I was there for. It's just there for the games, and then it basically dip. Maybe like sleep in the VR chat in the chill world every now and again, because I do like doing that. Escapism, yeah.
It's one of the things that I really enjoyed back on VR chat. I'm the type of person where I would just run around, do whatever, and then just fall asleep and wake up wherever. People were like, "How are you used to waking up around animal people?" I'm like, "There's a hyena that came into my room. I've never met the fursuiter until that moment." But
I'll be honest. Yeah, I'll be honest. The first time I did that wasn't intentional. It was I think I got like absolutely trashed one day, and I don't usually do that. Like, for one, it takes me a lot to get to there, and 2, I didn't think I'd do that in VR. But thankfully I had my friends around, and they brought me over to Serenity Sleepover, a chill like sleeping world in VR chat, and next thing I know, I'm waking up in there, and somebody's built like a pillow fort around me. And I'm like, okay, I'll live with that. And I kind of like just liked the idea after that. And I've done it like, I don't even know how many times since. But I don't even really do, I didn't, before I jumped in here, I hardly even did that.
Yeah.
But like anymore, I just don't like being in there as much these days. But even aside from that, even if I did, having experienced this side of things, like, I don't think I still would have gone back, because I just like it so much more in here.
It's just
I love
shit you can do in here.
it's more than just what you can do. It's the people too.
The people
Over
are
there,
good.
it's all over there. It's just all disconnected from each other, which is kind of the nature of the game. With how it's just run, everybody's in their own little communities, which is fine and all. Like, that's good for you. You have your communities and such. I'm in a community that's basically only people I talk to back in VR chat. But over here, I take for instance, if I'm working on a project or something and I run into Discord thing. I run into an issue. All I have to do really most of the time is I open up my world browser. And I'm like, okay, which thumbnail looks like somebody's working on some sort of project or flaws or anything that I can jump in, because usually if somebody's working on something in a public lobby, I should say.
Zangu, thank you for subscribing or resubscribing. Just subscribe. I don't know if it's a resub, but it's a subscribe.
Twitch Prime sub.
Twitch Prime sub.
It says, yeah, just a regular
Scroll
sub.
brain for me,
Zangoose.
which just went.
Oh yeah, for 4 months.
Woo! Resub
It's
Prime.
before
Yeah,
lunch.
resub.
you're
Thank
fucking
you.
blind.
Thank you
That
for
looks like a
doing.
croissant. Look at my
Now we're gonna
sign
be.
in that.
Now we're just gonna be
Yeah,
haunted
excellent
by the name of
close to Twitch.
Zangoose. Anyhow,
Nice.
what
but yeah,
was Squirrel Brain? Oh yeah.
Just the moment the name came up, I was like, ooh.
We all had Squirrel Brain. My brain already is just like.
But yeah, what I was saying is, anytime I come up with some sort of issue with a project I'm working on, all I gotta do is just open up my world browser and be like, this world looks like it has somebody that knows what they're talking about. I join in and I'm like, hey, listen, I got this issue where I have this item that's duplicating. Ad infinitum. Any clue what's going on? And they'd just be like, oh, hey, I don't know that myself, but let me
I know
go
a
take a look
guy,
at it.
or I know a guy.
Yeah, that too. That one was something I was doing with a map of mine, and that person just jumped with me into my map, and we sorted it out pretty quick. Or just like any other project I want to take on, like take for instance, that's gonna be stuck to me. Oh, it's just on my hand.
I took
Take
your
for
hand. I
instance,
took your
like-
coffee.
Yeah, take for instance like this top hat thing that I had going on. It lets me like shoot this out and then teleport to it wherever it goes. I was setting that up earlier today with the help of of a few other players in game.
Yeah,
It's great.
you can just set it up.
Yeah, and just the people in here are so friendly and open to just being friendly and helpful, and I love that.
It's the whole community is helping each other. You gotta
Exactly.
be. I have never been on VR chat because I went immediately to Neos. Because I was like, fuck VR chat. I wasn't even on it. I was just like, fuck VR chat.
I
shell
had
once in a
I'd been
while.
on VR chat, and I have quite a pile of opinions, but this day is for other people instead, so I'd rather their opinions than mine. But I can if I can get the list. Yeah,
Oh,
hang
you
on.
got a whole list.
Oh, he's vindictive.
So, I'm not going to pull out the main thing. I have a 15 to 20 page document. Reasons I'll never touch VR chat again. But to show, since I usually worry people will be like, "Oh, you're making opinions without experiencing things." Okay, VR chat's on the spot. Near 9,000 hours. Chill Out was also mentioned. I want to do more than 111 minutes at some point.
Like, I wish there was an hour meter for Second Life. I don't know how many hours I have in that. I know.
So I can't accurate my hours in VR chat because I've used multiple different platforms for it throughout my time playing. Because I initially started on Steam for VR playing, it was only there. Then they gave it onto the Oculus Store, and I was on there for a massive chunk. Then Quest, which was very short, but I was on there. And then back to Steam again when I started using OVR and stuff like that. Oh, it's kind of divided up, but I know Steam has like 2,000 hours for me.
I'm going to bury the Avali in so many years.
Yeah, just bury it. Just don't care. That's okay. The Avali doesn't speak really at all, so you know you can just bury him.
There's no
Like-
cameras.
No good cameras. Whose fault is that?
There we go. Perfect. All right, you two can talk.
We got 14,691 on this one, 18,900 on this one, 8,997, 9,590, 8,836.
You live
Then
in
again, you
VR.
live in VR.
Yeah, I talk about escapism.
Fair enough. And I'll do
Literally
that.
lives in VR.
Escapism. He spends more time in VR than he does in his real life. In fact, his real life is his virtual reality. This is his real life.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
He escapes here to go live a life.
Yeah, he has to
He-
escape VR to live a real life. Then he goes,
It's
"Wow, my life sucks. Let's get back on that VR."
it's been mentioned in like times when my mental health is going down. If I'm trying to escape from the escape, shit's wrong.
Yeah, and I just know that my time in Second Life, just in the time frame of like my Second Life birthday, I have met people in Resonite that were born after I started Second Life.
Ooh.
Old man.
Yeah. What am I on now? How long ago was 2006?
Very
Nah.
long ago.
Did I count my hands? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay,
Okay,
that's
index.
4. Then okay, then we've got 4, and then another 10 years. So
17.
it's about 17, 18 years, I think now.
2006 would be 17.
17 years.
Oof.
So I have been on Second Life for 17 years, and there was
I didn't
times
know
in
Second Life was that old.
and it started in 2004. And of that time, there were times when I would go to college, because this was I was in college, I was in it. I would go to my college class, go back to my room, be on Second Life, go to sleep, back, college, Second Life, sleep, college, Second Life, sleep. And it would be that every day.
So that was actually one I was considering getting into a long time ago, like before I even got or even thought of VR. But I never really found out how to get into it because back when I was trying to, everything I clicked looked like it was about to give me some sort of virus.
That's Second Life.
I'm like, I'm not gonna touch this. I want my computer.
So, Second Life reached a point of feature complete with one of the people, so it ended up just stagnating. And yeah, Second Life, it's still going. It's still going. People are still on it. It's a place where there's a lot of, well, at
There's
least
actually a lot of people on it.
there's. I see things in Second Life that I'm glad that I don't see in VR.
There.
Yeah.
I mean, Newt's getting close to his ass, but but the what?
I don't know what y'all talking about.
Yeah, there's still quite a lot of people on
I'm
Second
being
Life.
asked about an API I have to hit on. Okay, apparently I have to.
Hit on an API.
Yeah, I have to actually like accept these APIs to all of these apparently because I'm the host. I guess I don't know, but yeah, there's the player counts. Okay,
It was the weekend, right?
okay. I'm just gonna put this in front of me. VR chat has a lot of people.
Yeah.
VR chat and Second Life tend to fight, and only on
Yeah.
the weekends does VR chat top Second Life.
There.
So
Because weekends, but
I still live on both those platforms.
so
Resonate and VR
Rec
chat.
Room has a few. Resonite's doing pretty good on the weekends. I mean, compared to old platform, Resonite's doing all right, except we are still small.
least-
One
double.
player on old platform.
One player on old platform.
Yeah.
it's always entertaining seeing the 1 to 4 on old platform because it's usually not people. It's usually poor man's headlesses that have logged in and are just doing nothing.
Yep.
But like, if you run a headless, it doesn't apply to the player count on that.
That's why I said a poor
Yeah.
man's headless, where instead of
it's just
instead
somebody.
of having a headless account, it is a account that is actually having a body, but you just put it in on a laptop doing nothing.
Yeah. So, VR chat. There's still a lot of people on VR chat. What would you say to people on VR chat? Like, I know a lot of people I've heard some people join this and then they go like Resonate and they just go like the frame rate.
So there are a few things to be said for that. Unfortunately, there's only so much that can realistically be done at this moment with that. Just because this is new, there's a lot to be done. I'm sure they'll work on frame rate to an extent later, but a lot of it comes down to what the users themselves are creating. Since it's all user creation content, the bulkier a person wants to make their world, it's just gonna be that. Like, you gotta, the player base here has to like actually account for that. They have to work on that and try to better their worlds to be optimized. And to that end, a lot of people do try, and some don't. But that's always going to be the case, whatever platform you're on. It doesn't matter.
That's same from Second Life. I remember Second Life in the old days because I'm old. So I'm just drawing parallels as I'm dying here. Why am I dying?
Yep. What was that?
Somebody must have
Probably a
joined.
player.
Yeah.
No.
That's another thing, though.
I don't see anyone that joined.
Yeah, nobody joined.
I think Raspberry just brought out that.
Oh, it was Raspberry pulling out a phone.
Pulling out a phone. A phone killed us. But
I don't know why it does that.
Real life phone.
So
Because that's what's
reference
copied from me, right?
reference right there.
All the different things that are on it. That phone has applications where it's all various different things that it runs. So when he loaded that out, it loaded two separate video player things because there is YouTube and Twitch Live.
That's cool.
The Twitch chat, it brought in a bunch of apps and things. I don't know if you have it so that it's also got like various things that I have on mine.
So
It also drags me out of the seat every time I grab it.
interesting. But
Heavy objects.
yeah, just anyhow, the I was gonna say he was drawing parallels about the frame rate in Second Life was a big issue. Because you're playing with your croissant.
I'm trying to get rid of my croissant.
I love croissants.
Oh, I got it. I got your croissant. I'm gonna delete your croissant. Delete your croissant. But the user created thing is what draws people down. Second Life, I remember back in the day, back on that Wednesday, there was like
Old man.
10 FPS in Second Life was considered good. There was a time.
Oh God,
You remember those times?
I do.
Yeah. So like
I remember when I used to have a laptop that I'd say that in for any game.
I would have the most powerful computer I could build, and I would get like 12 frames a second in Second Life. And no, this isn't VR as rendering it twice. This is just Second Life. Because people were building for pretty, not optimized. Which is a problem because, hey, it looks pretty, but what about my frames? Who cares about your frames? We're going to have pretty. And then people complain that things are bad. But then if you go to an optimized world, you suddenly have frames.
Yep.
Sadly, while the, yeah, it's not pretty, but sadly, the Resonite's Cloud Home, which is the first thing that people are brought to, is on the pretty, but frame rate issue.
Yeah.
So, like, the first experience people get is the tutorial, which is pretty good now. Like, you know, actually go through it. But then that world, and it's pretty. Look at all the funny things you can do, which, granted, they did a really good job on it.
They did.
But the renderer...
It does a great deal of showcasing a lot of like simpler things you're able to.
But the renderer is the biggest downfall, and then it just... frame rate.
The renderers that I was about to add a whole bunch of music to the music discs because I'm like, oh, I'll do an album, and then I pause for a second. I'm like, my shit's in FLAC and people complain. I'll put it in an album. That's another gig in the world.
And people complained about the frame rate in here, and then I was like, but I was in a world with like 40 people once, and it was fine. 20 frames rate.
Yeah,
20 frames to me is fine with 40 people.
So I get a lot of people complaining in here about frame rate, various things like that. I'm way too used to it because those 9,000 hours in VR chat was at 12 FPS.
Yeah, you're just used to it.
Same.
I had one point where it was less than a frame a second. It was a frame every 3 seconds. and
And you're
I-
just vibing.
I ran over to one friend. I'm like, this is the most cursed shit. And they're like, what? I'm like, I got my frame rate up to 2 with how shit everything's being, but my viewpoint is less resolution than a Telegram sticker. Because it was by 412 pixels for one of the aspect ratios sides. And I'm like, I'm looking and it is just
Blurry.
Yeah.
I've never been on VR chat. Does VR chat do the same thing Resonite does when you have someone with low frame rate? Like you can actually see them jitter the low frame rate?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
one of my favorite crashes in there, actually, that you'll experience rather frequently, or you used to, I don't know if you still do, is you'll crash and then suddenly you'll be hearing the ghosts of conversations from like 5 minutes ago repeating ad infinitum in your head.
Shit, I forgot about
you'll
that.
you'll just be like crashing. Your game will be completely stationary, and a conversation from like 5 minutes ago will be playing out in your head.
Yeah.
It'll be a small snippet of it, and it'll just be like,
Yeah, it'll
oh
replay
yeah,
like
I'm gonna go
5
over to the
10
oh
seconds
yeah, I'm
of
gonna
it.
go over to the over and over. And it's ridiculous, but it was but that does lead to some really funny ones sometimes.
Like,
I
How-
love Resonate, but
I don't
the
know.
only
It's
issue,
almost like they're hanging on to it.
talking of crashes,
AI learning.
I love Resonate, but the issue I have is it crashes like 10 times a fucking day for me.
It changes. It's different for each person, but I know there's some crash issues that they're dealing with. And thank God Fruxius is such a recluse with just like making
I looked at
patches.
the crash logs. Most of them don't even state why they crashed. A few of them says it's an issue with the audio buffer type of thing, and a few of them says WebSocket connection shit.
So I noticed a lot of crashes were.
It is a very new platform.
Yeah, I did notice a lot of crashes were unhandled exception, which would be a memory address access violation, which would be
Not always. You have to look.
true. It usually
Yeah,
is.
in my crash log folder, I have at least 30 plus crash logs in there right now.
Yeah,
I need to find that.
but
Honestly, that sounds low.
yeah. So
Yeah.
well, there is a lot of crashes. Our good boy Fruxius is releasing patches so fast. So what was there a patch? One of my friends is on
We've had 3 I think at least 3 patches this week. The one Monday night and the Tuesday morning actually broke me. I can't go in headlesses because something on my avatar crashes them, and I've already crashed it with devs. But
If you
one of
read
my
the
favorite
patch note from
things-
today, it seems that I think that might have been patched.
I hope. I have yet to test it.
there's a long
but
patch.
One of my favorite things from Monday night into Tuesday, I was hanging out with Veer, and we all get the notification that Resonate has updated, and Veer's like, "Oh, it's updated. We should probably swap." And then he gets a quick notification. He just goes, "God damn it!" And we're like, "What?" He's like, "Frooks just messaged me, old version and sad emoji." It's been 30 seconds, Frooks.
I love Frooks. He's just I always see him working on things. Which difference between VR chat and Resonite, I guess. The dev, you can just go up and see him sleeping in a public world once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was another thing I was saying about community. More than just you can go out and get help for things, the community in here is very close. Like they're very, I mean, I say close, not closed, but close.
Yeah.
You can.
It's
They're
very
very
tight-knit.
they're very open, but you can always like, if I go around and I'm like, oh hey, do you know like Cooley Mike, random person I met in here. But half of you probably already do.
Yeah.
Because people know people in here, and it's great. Everybody knows each other, because everybody gets around. I mean,
One thing I
nice.
like about this platform is like how you can help a lot of people with projects live. Like a lot of people go to me as a unofficial mentor to help them with their avatars.
I fall into the unofficial mentor a
I
lot
do
all
too.
the time. It's always so great. We're not anybody that's verified. We just know a little bit of stuff or know who to tell. Like,
Yeah.
I
If somebody sees you working on something, they're going to assume that, which
Yeah.
that's
And,
fine. I like helping people with whatever I'm able to.
those two spikes are his wings. But one of the things that you had mentioned a little bit of just like bringing a project into any world and being like, hey, I need help with this. Like,
What's even
I
funnier?
love that. I forget if I've told you how to do this, but you if you have something that's not working, take it into another world, chat for a little bit with people, and then bring out a project that's not working and be like breaking things a little bit and just be like, why isn't this working? And then everybody will run over. It's
No, you don't do it like that. Do it like this.
Yeah. Something that I also find is really funny is if you put something into your local space. So if you're just holding it while you're transferring lobbies, you'll drag it across the world into the other person's lobby. So something I find funny to do is
That's an intended feature.
Yeah,
there was no inventory in the beginning. You would drag things to and from your cloud world to store them.
that was the
That's
original inventory.
honestly kind of cool, but also really horrible.
Yeah.
Really horrible.
Like, thank God we have an inventory now.
Imagine the
because, like,
chaos in a cloud world.
like a cloud world or local
I would
home
never
or
be able
whichever
to load
it
into
was.
mine already.
Uh,
But what I was saying is, I find it really funny to be able to just like be like, "Oh, 1 second, let me go. Let me head over to my other world real quick," and I'll just like pick up my Red Print browser and be like, "Okay, let me load back in," and just slap it down in front of their face.
What's really funny is you know worlds that have doors that you can grab the door and open it.
Yeah.
Grab the door and then change world.
I haven't thought to do that yet either. I want to do that now.
I'm going
But,
to immediately after
You can
this.
do it here.
Yeah.
We have those you can grab.
I also I did the grabbing an item and moving it because we were in the test setting of this studio right before we all hopped in, and I made I brought in Lord Bipples the Seventh from our Thursday Jackbox
Way
stream,
over there.
and I was able to drag him in. So now we have Lord Bipples. He's just in
The
the
seventh.
studio. Yeah. So Lord Bipples the Seventh.
You can drag him across. Lord Bipples is gonna watch you touch yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although to
It's
go back
supported
to
in
a bit of an
Resident now.
earlier question, when you're saying what would I say to people who are thinking about getting in here from VR chat, I would say there is a point against this in a few regards. One, this anybody who's on Quest for one, written out already. We don't.
If you're only
Quest.
Quest, they don't have a mobile version, so they can't have a Quest version.
No,
You have to do
that's how
Steam
that's how
VR.
it's- And admittedly, it's probably fairly likely that that's going to stay the case at the very least for a long time until they figure out either a higher end Quest that comes along that's able to hold up its own, or just I don't even know. But the other thing I would say is
It's a good bar to have because otherwise you have children.
yeah,
And
that too.
none of the kids are going to follow the EU's laws on nobody
The
below
16.
6 years old.
They're just gonna say
Yeah.
that they're 16, but
Yeah, but then you do have certain communities that won't be able to easily migrate over here. Like the one I'm in, we're trying to be very friendly to our Quest users as much as we can back in VR chat. We haven't mentioned that we're thinking about moving part of our community into here yet because we're waiting on me to finish the first map for it. I've been getting a bit sidetracked.
it's like, oh, look at this thing! Look at this
Welcome
thing!
to it. I have 23 open worlds that are projects I was working on back in Neos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, ooh, idea. Ooh, another idea. But the other thing I was going to say.
Bits of one of the studios that I set up before like we even started this project. I have a studio that I was working on back in our chat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, bah.
Yeah, but the other thing I was going to say is, what with this platform being fairly new, something I often get players who come into here from VR chat or anywhere else come into here, they're like, is this just for creators? Because everywhere I go, I see people just building things, and nobody's really doing anything else. And what I'd say to them, a few things. For one, and first and foremost, before anything else, people are creating things for players to experience, and it's worth nothing if we don't have players to experience the things we're building, the worlds, the items, so on.
The meta
So
memes.
it's vital that we have. Yeah. So it's vital that we have. Yes. So it is vital that we have just players being players, and that's fine. Like, don't worry about that. But another thing to that point, they do have a little bit of a point in that at present, with this being a new platform especially, everybody is currently working on their projects, getting them ported over, getting them fixed properly, or just getting started for players that don't have anything already and have things they want to do. So a lot of the community is just scrunched up inside of all these worlds, building, and so on, because we're all getting things set up. We're on our new worlds, setting up everything for the first time, or resetting them up for a lot of us from the previous platforms, be it wherever you came from. The map I'm building is a report of the one I had in VR chat. Even I'm resetting things up. Like a lot of it's going to be like that for a while.
I've seen some crazy migrations where it has been from Second Life into VR chat into Neos into Resonite. Like,
that's
the
a hell of a
more
process.
Yeah, like it'll be this same thing that somebody has dragged through and been like, oh, this is broken, let's fix this way. Like, one of the worlds that I almost decided I wanted to remake in here is from the Hammer world editor for Source Games.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like,
Zangoose says nobody's doing anything else. Say the alcoholic mirror dwellers.
yeah.
There are.
I felt that.
You felt that? Are you one of those that are like, oh hey, mirror?
Minus the alcoholic.
All right.
I was definitely a mirror dweller though. I was one of those people who.
I had something
that there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a annoying thing come up this week where I found on one of the live streams that I keep watching
Mirror.
to keep track of what my friends are doing.
Thanks.
I watched one from mid-October, and it has two friends of mine that I used to hang out with actually shit-talking me behind my back and basically calling me a monster. But in bringing up different things to one of the other friends... Yeah, pretty much. I'll pull up the video in a little bit, like after the show. But in talking to another one about it, I'm like you and me have our beefs, and he's like, yeah, I tried not to, and like, yeah, I had my problems with the previous platform, but it is what it is and everything. And I'm like, well, you've also sat back and said this, and he's like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, somebody else brought up how VR chat has a drinking problem. I second it, and you said, well, you're free to go play settings menu simulator by yourself. And I brought that up to him. He's like, I don't even remember saying that. I'm like, yeah, you were kind of drunk when you said it.
Wow.
He's like, oh, shit.
Damn.
So I made this specifically to go against to like trap the VR chat users. Because it's local, I'll have to click on it. But not that one, it's this one.
Who turned the goddamn mirror on? No one wants to see your ugly ass.
So what?
Frames. No, let me see the button again.
Your frames are dying.
What does it do? Because all
Okay,
I
that's
saw
better.
was Genry. Oh. So in one of my worlds that I made that is a recreation of one of the VR chat worlds that a lot of the Shibas would hang out in, I hid the portal launch pads in front of the mirror, so if you went to the mirror, if you were in the middle, you'd get launched behind you. If you went to either side, you got launched off the map.
That's great.
That's one thing. VR chat versus here.
Ads.
ads. No, we're ads shortly. We're gonna have to talk about fucking subscribing to us like these people have done. Which subscribing gives us money to go to Anthrocon to do this live in front of your faces. In real non-furry person, it would be his non-VR life. This second, like, no.
I'm still going to verify that I do not show what I look like, and that's either going to be I complete my fursuit, or I'm going to be masking throughout everything. Like,
Yeah,
not only
he's
in
going
the
to
spots you
be.
need to be masked.
He's going to.
I'm always going
He's
to be
going to be
hiding.
in black and white stripes with a ski mask on.
I will complete my robot suit.
Yeah,
So,
but
actually, I run into people that still at fur meets have the monitor heads. Like, I've run into
that's
that
really
all
cool.
the time. Yeah.
yeah.
The people that put like actual speaker systems in it as well, or like put on voice modulations for it, so they
That's
talk and then it
dope.
comes out completely different.
I actually have a voice for this character as well. I just don't usually use it.
It's amazing. Like you'll find people like this even in reality at times. Last time I ran into one was at Sakura Cherry Blossom Festival in not in Pittsburgh, in Philadelphia.
Yeah. So I was saying before ads, VR chat versus Resonite. VR chat's full of humane anime girls, not the animal people that we have here. Is that that's something that's a culture shock?
Yes, that was so. I, of course, you still have your furries on that side as well, but not like this. I got in here. I'm like,
they're all furries.
where the fuck do I fit in? It was so weird because like 90%, 80% of the player base in VR chat was like anime characters, male or female, primarily female, of course.
You gotta have your tits.
And just and some robots, what have you. And then, of course, the furry community was in there, but it was like a smaller part. They're like the far end.
Yeah.
You think it's small, but
It's a lot of
sit
them.
back, they hide all over the place.
Small relative to the community as a whole. There's more of that meant.
Until Virality hits or other virtual conventions.
Then they
you
all
realize
invade.
They don't all invade.
They've come
The
out of
numbers
hiding.
Don't go up as
I mean, there will.
much. They
It's
come
big
out of
enough.
hiding.
It's big enough that you will always see a lobby that has at least like 2 or 3 in there. But right here, this is a good example of how this platform is. Out of all the people here, including our cast and crew, I am the only one who is presently not a furry in this lobby.
That's pretty much.
Sure about that.
Are you not?
I plead the fifth.
Yeah, I see those ears.
I love with the Shibas and other friends that I had on VR chat, we would go to various other worlds. Those of us that felt like popping into public lobbies would do so, but most of the time you don't want to deal with public lobbies. It's crashers, it's trolls, it's all sorts of everything. One of
At
the
least
funny
one kid
ones,
that's like, "Oh, why are you a furry?"
one of the funny ones, one friend that was starting to lose a little bit of his ability to speak Russian because he had learned it a while ago. We hop into one world where it's just all Russians. We're waiting on his friend who just didn't show up, my friend who shows up later.
The machine.
So we're running around in a world in like a supermarket giving like weird price scans and everything. My friend's like, they're probably taking a hella advantage of us, but their money is so weak right now. Like their inflation's insane. They deserve a break. And then as we're sitting there, little tiny Quest kid comes over. Footy dahui! We're like, oh, he's saying hello. My friend Makoto is like, he's saying, I'm like, we know exactly what he's saying, but we're going to pretend it's hello.
When people ask me why would you want to be, a furry, I'm like, why would you want to be a human? When you can go into a world, you can be anything you want to be. Why would you want to be yourself?
Yeah.
Why would you want to? You literally could be anything you want. Why would you be a human? You live your life like that.
So the weird thing with that actually is my best friend, he doesn't play much social VR games, but I have the same conundrum with him anytime we're playing like some sort of fantasy game. He is the person who will always pick human. Well, sometimes dwarf, but usually always human. I say the exact same thing, like word to word for him. I'm like, why are you being a human? You are in a fantasy game where you could be anything else, and you pick human. And then I'm in here. This actually is more of an exemption to my usual. Usually I am human. So I don't. In fact,
There's another
really
robot
weird.
I know that is supposed to be a human, but he uses the default VR chat robot because he's like, I refuse to use an avatar I didn't make. And we're like, cool, make it. He's like, I don't have the time right now.
Raspberry redeemed
for
randomize
me-
my avatar. Okay.
But for me, this avatar is actually an OC of mine. I'm waiting for the other one to get made, but it's supposed to be the mad scientist and his robot. This is his robot. I had it commissioned first because it was going to be used first in the stories that we're doing in our community. But yeah, so I had this already on hand whenever I was moving over here. In fact, in VR chat, I have this in there, but I wasn't actually using it because I was waiting to use it for our story and a whole lot of other things, mainly a map that was in the works. And over here, I don't have my community. It's fine. I've been wearing this the entire time I've been here. Now I'm used to it.
Now it's just you now. Okay, I'm gonna move my feet. My feet are.
Yeah, people just know me as the robot with the top hat or whatever.
Well, that's you now.
So whenever I actually get my mad scientist, it's gonna be weird because I probably will wear that a good bit. I think
You're gonna.
I don't know.
You're
We'll
gonna
find
be
out.
around furries so much that we're just gonna like infect
Slowly
you.
attach tails and
Yeah,
shit
we'll
onto
give
my
you'll
avatar.
eventually you'll be a human, and then you'll turn into like those humans with like an animal tail and animal ears, and you'll be like, oh, that's fine. It's no, I fit in a little bit more, and then all of a sudden you'll just be like, I'm a fox now. God damn it! Like
It's going to be
I'll just have my
the
avatar
spy
commission guy
cosplays
recreate
at
it. That's a
Anthrocon.
furry.
uh,
Is it what?
I said it's going to be the spy cosplays at Anthrocon. I remember TF2 spies walking around with like a fox on a paper plate.
yeah, that's what it's gonna end up being.
Why?
Everyone that I've seen that's a human that hangs out too much with furries slowly becomes one.
See, you say that, I have
You know
weird
what
friends.
I hate?
What?
You know what I really hate right now?
Furries?
I can visualize exactly. No, I can visualize exactly how my character would look as a persona right now.
It's happening. It's getting into your brain.
Yeah. So one of my favorite things, I introduced one artist friend of mine into the fandom because I'm like, you are one of the best artists that I know. You are amazing with what you do. Like, there's this fandom, a lot of us are artists. He looks into it for like a week and he's like, yeah, I'm going to join. I'm like, cool, what's your persona going to be? A palm tree. What the fuck?
What?
Okay then.
He's an anthropomorphic palm tree? Fuck yeah. I mean, like, people make anthropomorphics
so
whatever, so
Yeah.
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 you can be a tree if you want to be.
So my artist guy, who I usually go to get the sketches for my OCs, he's an awesome dude. He's one of my friends. He is usually using an imprint for his OC. I think he wanted to turn it into a more humanoid thing, but it's what he had on hand in VR chat when he initially was using it. So that's what he ran with. He's like a Grim Reaper type character. But given that and the character designs he's done for other people in our community, if I were to get to a point where I'm like, I don't know, maybe it is time for me to convert, I think he could carry that out for
You'll
me.
start wearing the free furry avatars, just like, I want to be something different right now, and you'll just start like, oh, that one. Then you'll like wear
I
the
will say
Avali,
some
and then
of
you'll
those-
turn into like this chaos mess that will just bring out guns everywhere and shoot people.
I will say some of them do look super cozy. I know there's one person in here that I keep commenting on their avatar every time I see them. It's this short little fucker. They got like PJs on all the time, and it looks so cozy.
Yeah, some of them are just like dressed up nice and cute, and some people are really like, oh. I mean, I was hanging out with Honeybee the other day, and they were a little plushy They were hanging out. They were a plushie. What was it? The Regulus? Yeah, they were plushie Regulus. But then they were talking about eating human hearts and like oh yeah,
That's about how it goes.
yeah. It's just like the cutest little thing in the world, and it's like mass murder. Never trust the cute ones. If they're looking really cute, like little like
Then they
little,
can probably fuck your shit up.
they are going to murder you at night. They're the ones that are going to grab the axe while you're sleeping in a world and just start, going to town.
Oh, without any doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I got a message. This science weasel has woken up. We'll see if he will pop on.
The science weasel. All right. Another thing about being around furries is it turns straight people gay or at least pan.
Well, I'm a step ahead of the gang on that side.
Okay,
at
you're
least.
good. Okay, you're fine. You don't need to.
Yeah.
You're not being converted, so yeah, you're already pan. So that's fine. But like when they come in, every time I see someone come in and they're like, "I'm straight," and then they start cuddling dudes, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, you're not anymore."
Default.
Yeah. I call it prison gay. So like when you're surrounded, furries are majority male.
So I think that's when it started for me, not with furries specifically, but back in VR chat, again, I would go to sleep in public lobbies a lot. And one day, I can't remember if, I was sleeping in Serenity Sleepover again. And I, at this point, had changed my status because you have statuses that you can set in there. I changed my status to be sleeping, feel free to cuddle or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And I wake up and there's this random dude like just cuddling me. And then like eventually whenever I wake up in the actual morning, he's still there. I wake up shortly thereafter, he wakes up and we just hang out. And then suddenly all I know is the next like month we do the same thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go from straight to this is good?
I think admittedly for a brief period of time there, I genuinely fell in love with him. I don't think he did though, is the issue. But
Could be Polly. It could be Polly and just like going around.
One know it really, really sucked though.
What?
I can't remember people's names for shit. So eventually one day I realized in my friends list there were two names that were very similar to each other. And I couldn't tell which one of them was that guy. And then all communication just fell down.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, just the other day.
Because I was too shy to just reach out and be like, hey, are you this guy?
Yeah.
So I just stopped talking entirely.
Yeah. Just the other day, there was Blue Dog here. He made a mistake. You saw purple.
Started telling Newt something when it was Rashar.
Yeah, because they're both purple.
Huh?
Yeah. So Rasharo
Rush was playing Space Engineers with everybody, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Newt plays that, I think, as well." And I just saw purple, popped in, wasn't paying attention, was doing other shit, but popped in a voice call
and started talking, and just said Newt. It's just like, "Hey, Newt," and then they're like, "Newt's not here. That's Rush," and he's like, "I just saw purple."
Purple. And then it was even funnier because Rush had forgotten that I'm the one that handed him all the raptor avatars, because I was like, "Oh, you're the raptor." He's like, "How did you know?" And I'm like, "Because I handed you all the raptor avatars." He's like, "Oh, yeah."
We're all terrible with names. We don't remember half the people.
Can I interrupt for like just half a second?
No. Yes. Go
You're
ahead.
on the team.
Yeah, what you got?
You export meshes from this game.
I'll tell you later, so we don't have people ripping things. It's easy for them to figure out how, but
Fuck, you're right.
yeah.
Before we give you,
I can't get it.
before we give people a tutorial on how to rip things out of the game,
I'm doing it for a reason. You guys know the reason I'm doing it.
yeah, I know.
but
I can't fucking.
ah!
It keeps
Fell off a
exporting
cliff.
the fucking like mesh orb or the export dialogue instead of the actual mesh.
we'll get
Also-
that laughter.
With that topic, the difference in ripping on here versus other platforms. So
It's a feature.
yeah, well, so with VR chat, ripping is super easy if you know how to rip, because I used to know how to rip from Second Life, because I bought an avatar and it just didn't come with the files I needed to modify the textures.
You just,
I'm like, hey, does anybody know how to do this? And this one female avatar, that's all I remember from them, is I can't remember which name was which. Another of two that were very similar. She's like, I don't know how to do that. I'm not going to tell you. DM, follow me.
yeah, as if like Linden Lab doesn't be able to see your instant messages as well. Like if they want to, they can get your IM logs. But like,
yeah,
I would always like if I was doing mods on Second Life for people, and then like they needed to rip or do like rip a texture, rip stuff out of the cache, stuff like that, I would be like, I can't tell you how to do it. I can't condone it, but you know, if you do happen to go over here, if you do happen to do this, there's some tools like, and like I can't condone this.
So
But mostly in either
with,
DMs or on Discord, I would tell them.
One of the things that was really funny for talking about ripping in a previous platform, one of the people here that makes a whole lot of stuff, but I won't tell who, was sitting back like, yeah, a lot of people know how to rip and everything, and you could do whatever you want in here. And I don't really care if people rip my shit from here, because if they do you know how much they have to re-rig the avatars?
Yeah.
Do you know how much they have to do so much more shit? If you put in that much work, it's fucking yours. Go for it.
Yeah, because when you pull when you pull from this platform, you just get the mesh. You don't get the rigging information. You don't get anything. You just get the mesh.
It's just like vertices.
Yeah, you need to do a lot of work. If you went to go pull from this, you have to do a lot of work to set it back up, to then put it on stuff. It's just not a worthwhile endeavor. It's not a worthwhile endeavor. But you can technically, like what I have done is I needed to do a texture on a model that I could only have in here. So I pulled its mesh out and put it into Substance Painter myself, because I didn't have a Substance Painter files for it. So I made my own Substance Painter file, but I had to pull the mesh and set up my own Substance Painter so I could texture. That I don't see as bad because I'm using it for myself and it's just a retexture. I'm not giving it out. That's a useful feature.
So I've actually had to do a texture for one of the free avatars that's in here, because I'm like, oh, I'll convince one friend over to this, and I'm sick of using GIMP. So let's actually try. Let's see how hard this is. So for one of the circle models in here, I pulled it in, tried, it doesn't work right. You have to take the mesh out, you have to put it into Blender, you have to redo everything in Blender, you have to put it into Substance Painter, you have to get it to work in Substance Painter, you have to try again with Substance Painter, you have to take it back to Blender because you realize you fucked up on step 3. Like, you have to keep going back and forth, and I'm like, wow, this does suck.
When I originally put a model into Substance Painter, it was canted at a 45-degree angle. So when I turn on symmetry, it was not symmetrical for the actual model. It was canted. I'm like, I have to actually paint my symmetry. Like I have to actually do symmetry instead of having it automatically do it. I was upsetty. I was very upsetty spaghetti. But ripping, I know in VRC they had the whole Ripper store.
Yes, it's still a thing. The only thing that's changed from it is now you can no longer download worlds.
Yeah, so Ripper Store.
Actually, it's shutting down soon.
Yeah, I think the whole thing
supposedly.
is shutting down.
Ooh,
But
how many times have we done that?
But supposedly, I don't have the 2 fingers. I have to do the one on either one. But
yeah.
Problem with synths and they're my fingers. But.
Hey, look, me, not a furry, having 5 fingers on my hands.
Look at you having a screen for a face. Don't look at mine.
I have all 5.
I have
Yeah,
a
but
life.
more often than not.
I have 5.
I would
Okay,
flip you off, but
well,
I don't have a middle finger.
Yes,
Case
you
in point.
do. Just hold up the first one. I remember that Pokemon with Meowth. Just middle finger.
Yeah. So VRC had Ripper Store, and from what I understand, yeah, has, but the whole Ripper Store thing, it seems like the ripping from VRC is extremely easy.
Yes, it is.
Like to the point of rip,
Ridiculously
use
easy.
it. There's no real effort involved, and then you have people's custom avatars.
Yeah.
And all you pretty much need is a program, scan the cache, boom.
Boom. It's similar to ripping in Second Life. Scan the cache. You have everything there.
Yeah, VR chat. It's easy because they don't encrypt anything,
Nothing is encrypted.
and now they have easy anti-cheat sending the unencrypted stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our smaller community, ripping isn't as big of an issue, I don't think. It can be if we get bigger.
I mean,
because there's obviously people
there-
can rip. It's gonna happen. People want free shit.
So if
People hate paying money.
if things go the way that they're trying to, and that hopefully it does, the community will inevitably grow larger. So we will need to be watchful and mindful of the fact that while we have a relative peace right now,
Yeah, no, the sneeze guard's not up.
Flip the sneeze guard on.
Oh, hi, there's a Fruits in front of me.
Yeah,
Honey,
somebody
well,
was
yeah.
running around from over there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yeah,
It's
but
Rubber Wolf,
what
I
was
think.
saying
Yeah, it's
is-
Rubber Wolf.
Don't lock it in place yet. Right there's Science Weasel. He needs to get through.
Oh, Science Weasel. Science Weasel. Can we just grab him? Just pick him up.
It's go.
We could.
Go, run on stage. There you go. Now you can.
Hi.
You're the other one.
Welcome to the crew.
Sit on
Yeah.
that.
We have the person
Be
that's
a-
going to be positive. Now we need to have the person that's negative but also positive.
I've been trying to say like,
Yeah.
somewhere in the middle.
Now, completely shit on our parade.
Nah,
Where are we? What's the
All over
topic
the
of
place.
conversation?
Well, we were just talking
topic
about
of the
ripping.
topic of the conversation is the experiences of VR chat users on Resonate. Now that Resonate has been a thing for about a month.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
All right. Let me
Get your-
collect my thoughts.
Get your document out. You know your whole like.
Yeah. So
Yeah, angle.
I had him in for what 5 or 6 hours it felt like, and you had a whole lot of things that you didn't like, but then also gave enough constructive criticism that I'm like, I want to give this to the devs, but I don't have enough memory to remember everything that you said.
As with the
Yeah,
dev episode, GitHub. Everything that you want, suggestions or things, if you have them, there's the GitHub. And you can use that to could directly put it into the dev's site and in their pipeline. And as they will usually work on it in their pipeline and priorities.
Yeah, I think the first thing logging in, the very first thing that I noticed was the lack of options for being able to adjust graphic settings to try to get above a 45 FPS.
They are actually working on that right now. They made an announcement that they were.
And I think that's going to be a really big step forward, because I suffer from 60 FPS is acceptable, but still I'll get fatigue. Anything below 75 or 90 FPS tends to kind of drain me. But at
I'm getting low
45,
20s.
yeah, you know, and
Yeah.
Like 15.
At 45, I witnessed him getting like almost a vertigo. Like
and you know, it's different different people will have in the population will have different responses to lower FPS. Some people it doesn't bother as much to have like a slideshow every now and then, but I'm running on a 3080 with a is it 4th generation Ryzen, plenty of RAM, plenty of VRAM.
3090
right.
Ti, this generation AMD, and 64 gigs of RAM, and I'm still 14 FPS.
And I'm on, 4090 Threadripper 3960X, 128 gigs of RAM, 24 frames a second. But,
Yes.
but I have also realized it's partly the the threading
Lighting
issue.
probes.
No, the threading issue, because the current way that it processes everything, it doesn't saturate my graphics card. If you go look at your actual graphics card saturation, it's
Same.
mostly idling. It's like
Yeah, and
You can
that's
use,
what
like-
surprised me as well. Yeah.
You can use a tool called FPS VR to
Mhm.
change that, but even then, I top out at like 20 frames.
Yeah.
before it's topping out both my CPU and my GPU simultaneously.
yeah, so they need to change the render pipeline, and that is also on the list, but that render pipeline adjustment is like not an easy thing. So it's on the list,
Not easy.
but like they're like, oh well, we'll get to that when we can fix the underlying bugs. I was trying to see if I could find what their announcement was. Was it the dev updates that they said they were?
Yeah, I think so.
The stuff they're actually working on, which you might like, Science Weasel. I'm gonna call you Science Weasel from now on.
The little freaks.
I know you're Savage Kin, but you're now Science Weasel. Where
It's all right with me.
Where are
One
you?
thing I love about Resonate is the
Mhm.
advanced shit you can do, like with WebSockets and tons of other programs.
Devlog.
Oh,
Like this.
Mhm.
You can see my computer information, much GPU being used, CPU memory.
Yeah. Actually have it flipped this way so that the camera can see it as well.
Okay. It's
My GPUs are pretty much being matched out.
Yeah. My let's see. There's looting. The two main things that they're taking on after now they've gotten back from BLFC is settings subsystem and UI rework, and the new in-house IK system.
And I think it's an iterative process, right?
Yeah.
It's just how development works, but
Yeah.
I do think that there will be an
Have a point
improvement,
of order.
and then we can find. Oh,
I don't have a place on stage, so I'm just gonna stand in the back menacingly. But basically, I also do want to mention some other people in the community have mentioned that it is slightly annoying that people are, or not people, that the team have chosen to go this direction and first pursuing like changing the UI things and fixing IK instead of fixing the big things that they think are big, like context migration, people not being able to see when they're online or whatever, or not being able to join them, like small things like that. It's like they're picking the big things that are going to affect the large majority of people. You're a minority. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The IK, admittedly, and I think this is also people from VRC that come here, the IK system in Resonate is dog shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially with like
Definitely.
full body calibrating lately, it's
Oh, yeah.
been when I'm trying to calibrate, the calibrate visual is askew.
Mhm.
So I can try to line
Yeah,
up,
it's never
and
lined
it,
up
like,
right.
pointing to the side like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like, what is
Line
this
up.
thing doing?
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
shouldn't even need a thing like that. Look at our chat does it. You literally just stand there. You don't have to align with anything, and it figures it out.
Yeah, so they
Not trying to make comparisons, but that is literally a direct
that
comparison.
is a direct comparison, and we do know that that's bad.
Yeah.
The new IK, I think they said that they're also working on a new full body calibrator as well, specifically for you guys with full body. I don't know when that's coming out,
Yeah.
but we
Yeah.
know Faruxius locks himself in his room.
Yeah, Savage fits the full body because that was one of the other things that we set up. I'm like, oh, you're going to be full body. Get ready for this nightmare. And then
I need to start getting ready for that since I have slime on the way.
Yeah, I use slime. Slime has a drifting issue usually, and it's a pain in the ass, but it's easy to like tap. But the
I'll-
problem I have with slimes in Resonate specifically is normally you have like the normal full body trackers. You do the little click, and it kind of figures it out pretty good, and you don't have to adjust the original pose. You just adjust your avatar. Slimes don't. So sometimes like your feet will be weird and you have to like see how you're rotating and then like adjust each part of you a little bit just to get better, because just the way slimes work, you have to like adjust differently. But slimes are a
And
bit
on
more of a
mine
pain in the
are-
ass.
on the
When
topic
mine
for
arrive, you mind if I hit you
slimes-
up about that?
You can hit me up, yeah. I don't use my slimes that much because putting on 10 different trackers just to hang out for a little bit is kind of a lot of work. I'll only use it if I really plan to like use it for some reason. Like if I'm gonna go tease a buddy of mine with my feet. Like that's a whole.
Yeah, that is a sentence.
Yeah.
Welcome to furries and resonate.
On the topic of slimes and everything, I might be going through slimes. Savage, which trackers do you use? Because you are right nearby, Collie, and I'm probably going to get him to make me slimes. Are you on slimes, revive, anything that isn't him?
1,000-yard stare. He's dead.
Science Weasel is dead.
Science Weasel.
Science Weasel has been reminded he lives in California and it's a shit show.
Choke that weasel. Wake him up. Wiggle the weasel.
Oh, he says will BRB 3 minutes ago. Never mind.
Okay, he went BRB. He just completely, left off. Okay. Yeah. Choke that weasel. But
random thing I keep thinking about but keep forgetting to mention is something that got kind of glossed over, which is big change from VR chat to here. Inventory.
Yeah,
that exists.
Yeah.
Inventory. That's one reason I do not want to use VR chat at all, because I'm so used to having an inventory from Second Life and here, and I'm just like inventory. Let me just pull that out for a second.
Yeah, with VR chat, if you want to do anything fancy or cool or whatever, every single thing is on your avatar or in your world. There is no exception to that.
Yep.
But in here, I can just pull this shit out of my fucking pocket. Like
you can pull it out of outer space. And just boing, here you go.
Here, have a suck sticky note.
It's just in your head.
Here, have a Unity crash.
Yeah.
Can we put a suck sticky note on a Unity crash?
The speed at which I was also able to just be like, old man runs joking ground for 3 years.
We just talked about that.
Yeah, you can just do whatever in here and then just shove it up in your pockets and be like, okay, I'll take this out later when I feel like it.
Or just grab it,
or somebody shows
grab it and take it places and be like, haha.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, like somebody shows you something cool and you're like, can I save that? You take it and you can use it whenever, wherever, and it's awesome. I love it. And it's such a difference from VR chat in that regard. Like I can actively work on just toys basically to bring out whenever, wherever I want, and a lot of them aren't even toys too. Like you'll have people that are making actually like nice. You'll have people that are making like other things like protections and stuff like that. That prevent you from getting knockback applied to you or whatever else.
Oh yeah, the gross glue tip.
The glue tip. It's glue.
Yeah. So I asked and then realized that you were AFK. Which full body do you use? Because I know you're really close by Collie.
Can tell you not
are you on one of his systems or a normal one?
No, I'm on a normal one, though I have a hybrid system between the HP Reverb G2. I have HTC trackers. I've got index base stations and then index controllers as well. And so those were playing nice in Resident, which that's nice. Yeah. Because it would have been frustrating to have to go back to the G2 controllers just to get on. So I was happy to see that there's some full body tracking work that could be done, but I feel like a lot of it just has to do with
we're new
trying to bring in. Yeah, I mean it worked really well, and I liked the layout of it. What I think
stuck on your face
is a big issue is the model import process, which I think is like the next kind of thing that I noticed when I came in. VR chat has a pipeline. You build it in Blender, you import it into Unity, you upload it to VR chat. You are able to match your trackers, and everything looks really, really good. Pulling in a model is kind of like buyer beware or user beware, or however you want to say it, into Resonate. So the long void model, for example, didn't really perform too well. I'm kind of squatting the whole time. I'm doing a lot of stuff, and so there's a little bit of a learning process. I'm sure that can be overcome.
Oh, specifically for that
non-humanoid structures and odd anatomies are going to be weak.
So specifically on that, They are currently asking if you have models that have weird IKs, non-humanoid style IKs, like a long boy, something like that, that they want examples of them to test the new IK system on because they're trying to fix that.
Yeah, no, I think
So-
that's an excellent solution to that, is just kind of understanding the oddities, right? Because you want to get something working for your humanoid models first. Totally understand that it's kind of like an implementation thing.
I think it's one of those things where the IK was coded what they originally thought this was going to be, which previous platform was not supposed to be where furries invaded, and we did all this. It was an educational thing for colleges. That's why it was built this way. So everything was built for college and educational, like, so one college can be with another college and together.
Much like what college is, it became party.
But you didn't even know that, did you?
Seriously?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
That's originally what this was for. It was for colleges, not for hanging out and socializing. It was for colleges to work on things together.
Being able to
Wait, are you saying this one or the previous?
This is the same thing as previous platform
and
because it's the same code base.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
I'm saying originally created for.
That's what previous platform was, and then but this is still part of previous platform's code base. But they're trying to go.
Hang on, I actually have
the places
a
you'll
really
go.
funny
It can't turn into
example.
this.
It's like I have to do
So
this.
let me find it.
And as Zangoose
So-
says, the vast majority of
Look over
avatars
here.
are designed for Unity Mechanum rigs and will continue to be, because we are what, 500 people online at once, and VR chat was what, 60-something thousand people on once. There's a larger market there.
So on the topic of this
That's
place being
in my eyes.
educational, as well.
Sorry, you weren't leaning over.
Yeah, hold on, I got.
So everybody here basically knows each other. When somebody
Perfect.
new
You look
pops
weird
up that
without
we
a
don't
mustache.
know,
I
it's
know, right?
weird,
Give me
it's
a second, I got
surprising,
it.
and we try to figure out who it is. There is somebody that popped in. I did not hop in the world because I could tell the world was going to be in another language. But when I looked, it was a human avatar with the Spark badge. And I stared at it and I'm like, I don't know this person. And it's rare to see a human avatar. After bringing it up to Nex was able to inform me that this person, who I looked and he was explaining the tips and everything, is one of Frux's professors.
Really?
Yeah.
I gotta see him.
Oh my god, wait.
It's amazing.
I love that so much.
Oh, there's something on me.
Hold on.
Wait, as in it was just a model of them, or it was legitimately them?
It is a 3D scan of one of Frux's professors. I think I might not be completely correct.
But are you
in this,
saying like their actual professor was?
Well, that's
was
how Carol
playing
was for a
as that?
while, right?
So this is the avatar of the professor. The professor has himself 3D scanned and was explaining things to a class. So I was like, I don't want to pop in and just like do something ridiculous.
So they're still, Fruxis. Fruxis has made something cool. All right, like this whole thing, it works well for the original intent, but furries have invaded.
It still works well enough for the original intent that I've debated doing like lockpicking and locksmithing demos to explain different physical security things to people. Which
You could
Newt
make a
knows full
working
well. Newt knows
lockpick
full
in
well
here.
I can explain things. I already have a model for explaining how to pick locks in here.
My mustache is better now.
Is an illusion.
Yes. So
I have a wharf stash now.
Newt, are you okay
top
with me
hat?
sharing the two images
Yeah,
and slight explanation? Okay, so
Doesn't stick
Newt
on my head
locked
though.
himself out
No, that one
this
isn't.
week,
Both I does, though.
and all right, Newt.
Am I
there
just
we
taking all
go.
your stuff?
Yeah.
From one robot to another.
So-
That's just
Newt was
stuff center.
It was locked out, messages me. Luckily, I was able to see it. He's like, hey, Glitch, I locked my keys in my house. How do I get in? And I'm like, send door. You need to send a photo of your door. What's it look like? And so he sends the photo, and in looking at it, I give him a quick rundown how to open the door by where the door is orientated, how to go to your car, rip the old windshield wipers apart, and make lockpicks for it, various different ways. And I explained to him how to shim a door open, which a lot of people are usually like, "Oh, that's only in movies." Even some locksmiths will be like, "Oh, it's only in movies."
You can shim doors.
You can shim doors. I explained to him how to take a bottle and use like a Sprite bottle or a Coke bottle for it.
Side of the thing. You're not supposed to be over here.
And instead, he messages me with this. He's like, "How the fuck did that work? This is a piece of a plastic sunflower. This is terrifying."
Yeah. So, about
a fake dandelion.
So about lockpicking and stuff like that, I know we're kind of going off on a tangent, but I just have one thing to say. Yeah, before I moved to where I'm at now, my old job was getting a new building, and we were able to go and see like the building and like walk around and say, hey, this is going to be cool, this is going to be cool. And the boss was like, checking all the rooms, and one of the rooms was locked, and he's like, oh man, I can't get in there yet. You don't have the keys for it. And like, hold on. I went and just like I found something that's popped the door open. Like, here you go. He's like, that's scary. I'm like, yeah, hey, you're in now.
So, I want to say back in 2020, I met back up with my my 7th grade history teacher, and I explained to her that I learned lockpicking because I watched one friend pick the lock to her door, and I won't tell her who it was. Just even though statute would be up and everything, one of the mornings, since she kept showing up late, and we all needed to like get into the class, like get through morning attendance, everything like that. Doors locked, and we're all just sitting there, and one friend just goes, "Okay, I'm sick of fucking waiting. You're a girl, you're a girl, you're a girl." Has a bobby pin. Gets a bobby pin, snaps it in half, goes over, picks the lock open, and we just all quietly go in and close the door behind us. And we just all sit at our desks. It's still dark. She walks in, turns on the light. We're all just sitting there staring at her. And she goes, "That door is supposed to be locked and was locked when I came in. Whoever did that, don't do it again." And just walks through. And she admits to me, she's like, "Oh, I didn't know that it actually was locked. I thought you guys just locked me out." I'm like, "No, you were late again, and one friend picked open the door, and when I realized that it's not just Hollywood and bullshit, I'm like, I kind of want to do this, and I got a lockpick like that week."
Yeah. I have learned from knowing lockpicking and stuff that if I want anything actually secure, I have to get some stupid lock, which the Bowley lock is one of those super hard to pick. Like, if you want something secure, put a Bowley lock.
It has like little dots on it.
No, the key. No, that's a
that's a dimple.
That's a dimple lock. No, what's the? Those are all right, but those aren't close to a Bowley lock. A Bowley lock, the key is super thick and goes forward, up, and back, and then the top side has the thing. Yeah, and it looks like a warded lock when you go into it because it's got like shielding inside of it. The key has to actually go around the shielding to be able to open the lock, so you can't get tools in.
Yeah, I was about to say, I know it's safe at work that has the bubble-looking one.
Yeah.
As much as I love the lockpicking debate.
Yes, master locks can be opened with master lock. So why don't we get back on the topic of VR chat? We have VR chat people here. We're not picking locks. We're picking VR chat brains. Why does Raspberry have a muzzle? I don't, so.
Because why not?
Because they're muted.
No, I'm not.
No, they're just muzzled. I mean,
You weren't muted.
I mean, why don't you have one?
I mean, one of the people is a furry, so they've seen stuff like this in VR chat at least.
They're just
even though he's a science weasel. I'm gonna have to guess Genry hasn't seen too much of that in VR chat, like random muzzling and
Stay
just
clear of that one for the most
just
part.
like just looking at certain people, like things that are
actually,
normal to us
That
over
just,
here.
that
Actually,
just
fun
means
fact,
that he
that does
hasn't gone
remind
into the
me.
popular worlds.
You mean
That does remind me though.
Just Beat
Whenever
Club.
I was in there, like early days, like really early days, before I got into the community, I chilled with going forward. Well, the community that died got reborn like twice. Anyways, trauma. Before I got into anything really, I decided for some reason, hey, I'm going to go to the VRChat hub and find new users and just show them around. Try to show them like the better side of VRChat before they get dragged into the other side. Because that was one hell of a side.
before they get dragged into memes and fucking.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
And memes about fucking, because we've definitely popped into different worlds where it'll just be like a song about like people fucking behind the door and how you want in.
Oh wow.
Wow. Anyway.
Dark Goddess, of course, was the one that was usually playing that.
Yeah, but like basically what I'd show them, and I was being weird back then. I didn't want people to be in anime avatars. I was for some reason thought, oh, that's bad or whatever. So I tried to show them like avatars other than that. Go avatar hunting with them for a while and so on, and tell them like, hey, here are like some good communities out here. Here's some people you should stay away from. I'd also said the furry community is very friendly. They're some of the friendliest people you'll ever meet in here. Don't get involved with them, though.
Don't get involved with the furries.
Yeah, like straight up, that's what I would say. The underside of that community is not somewhere you want to be.
I mean, underside. I mean, this is furries, all right. Underside might be under paw. It might be under, the furry itself.
But like that's the impression I had back then.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd spread forward.
You're not wrong.
I think there's a dichotomy to it though. There's definitely a dichotomy of those that are just there for, cute, fun, wholesome content, and then there's obviously furry sex simulator, and that's fine as long as it stays in its lane.
Oh no, what's Newt bringing out?
Glitch, I want you to look at this.
What is this?
And tell us what this is.
Is that the?
Sorry, I just ran to the table.
Oh god,
Yeah,
that's
this
the
is
stage.
this is his stage.
Oh God.
What do you want to know?
It was made in.
People, we have a mesh collider on that mesh.
Yeah. So, what?
I need to adjust my
What is a problem currently on this stage that is another thing which you guys in VR chat didn't have? Creation in world, where you're in VR and you get like a primitive and you can make primitives. The world was made with primitives.
I'm crying.
This guy made it with primitives.
I'm also kind of curious on a lot of this.
Like, why are there so many fucking points in the middle of nowhere?
So, primitives.
Wow.
And then he glued them together with a glue tip.
Oh god. The glue tip.
Let me explain how this world was made. So right over there is a cylinder and various cylinders on a.
These are all cylinders. This
I
goes
just zoomed
along.
out just a little bit.
Not all cylinders. So
You can't even see the mesh.
if I come over here, this looks like if Mattern can get the camera on. Actually, Mattern, put camera on Newt's point of view.
Yeah, get his low frame rate point of view. You have to add a new camera point.
Oh yeah, he's got to add a new camera.
Yeah.
Camera. But yeah, the primitives thing, I think is the one reason this takes a while is
eyes.
because this needs to all be optimized.
Yeah.
That's what I'm working on right now, so we
But
can
just
re-import it when I'm
to
done.
quickly finish up what I was saying though, was recently, about probably like a year ago or so now. How do you what?
So with the hell that this place
He wants to
is,
show off his fucking creation, I guess. Well, hold that thought. Hold that in your RAM banks. Don't lose it.
Yeah, so It looks
My
all
hair's in my
smooth
eyes.
and actually really nicely rounded. I was able to actually smooth out some of the bumps to everything. You can see actually on here, if you look close enough, you see the slight curves coming
Delete the phone,
outwards
prepare
from
for the
all of the cylinders that make up the carpet. Like come to this spot and look this direction. You can see with the lines.
Making this
Like
I
all
know what I'm looking
in
for.
world.
okay, so you see how it
It's
kind
visible.
of pops up, pops up.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, there's
Oh, I'm lagging.
definitely seams.
There is a wireframe material, and you don't want to put it
You
on
don't
this.
want to see it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
you did that? Oh my
I'm looking for a wireframe material. I want the wireframe material.
Zangoose, get in the world and give us that.
Nah,
Glitch.
here on that
There's
one.
plenty available on Reddit.
This
I know there's
wireframe
plenty
Reddit.
on there,
He's,
but I
he's
have
working on it.
I have a bunch
God.
already. Here we
We
go.
have 14
This
viewers
one,
watching this chaos right now.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh god, prepare for wireframe.
Did he get it?
So this
Veteran,
one,
you
this
might
one's
wanna
not
turn
like
the
a
edit mode off
multicolored
again.
one.
Turn edit mode
Yeah.
off, yeah, because
Oh my god.
Oh god.
So that's what this looks like.
turn
Oh,
back on it.
switch.
Turn back on the camera for Newt though, because
Yeah.
you're showing something to Newt.
And
Oh,
that's that.
Oh my
Oh,
god, yeah.
God.
Yeah, that's what I pulled into fucking. He says,
Do it again.
Okay, everybody, look up and avert your eyes.
Nah.
Oh no!
It turns
I
on.
got both of them. Yeah, because there's two. There's
Oh,
two. So there's
okay,
that
okay.
one
Who?
and that one.
Oh
Jesus.
god.
So-
No wonder we.
we
No, I'm
need
kidding.
to.
That's a
Talking
lot of
about
points.
world optimization earlier, right? We need to optimize this world.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go into my incognito avatar.
I don't know how to use Blender. I know
we
how
go.
to do this.
I'm working
Glitch
on it.
over
Don't
here
worry.
making this
I'm
world.
working on it as we speak.
Okay,
Glitch
so
over here.
I have to
like 'em
figure out
big.
how the fuck
I
there are
like 'em
this many
chunky.
lines in here, though. Like,
as
there's just
Zangoose
edges everywhere.
As Zangoose says, mesh export does sometimes include extra data that is not actually real. So
Okay, good.
yeah,
And
when
on
your
that many
wireframe is solid.
objects, like, oof.
Okay, but anyhow,
I
you
can't
were
even go into edit mode on here.
you were
There we go.
saying before. Did you remember what you were saying?
Yeah, what I was saying is, as I mentioned, I back long time ago in VR chat, I used to show some people around initially whenever they're first getting in. Well, somebody reached out to me like a year or so ago now, and just caught me while I was in a public road and was like, "Hey, Jenry, right? I remember you. You showed me around." Years ago, back in VR chat, right when I was getting ready to give up on the whole thing, I was going to leave. I was just gonna wash my hands of it and walk out the door. And they're like, "I hate you for that." Because after that, I did everything you told me not to, got into all the wrong communities, so much ERP. And I'm like, come on, guys. Try not to. And he's like, that led to the darkest stages of my life I have ever been to. And I'm like, come on.
Well, what's it? The
tried.
Streisand effect. You tell them not to do something, they immediately do it.
Yeah, and that's basically what happened. And he's like, I'm now a femboy. I don't know my gender anymore. I have
That's
done
the
so
furry
many
problem.
horrible things
That's a
in
furry
here."
problem. All right, every time
Nah,
you just
he was an anime avatar.
turned into
I
a
mean, there's
femboy.
nothing wrong with being a femboy.
You're a
Yeah, no,
femboy.
but like,
I'm a
he was
femboy.
just,
You're a
He was
femboy.
just default. He was just a default person before. Like he's saying like, I had all the normal stuff before this. I was just a straight normal male before this. I don't know what the fuck I am now. I don't know what the fuck I like.
So
now.
do you know femboys
Right.
femboys work off of werewolf rules? Once you get bit by a femboy, you become one.
Oh no.
Oh, God.
I tease people in VR chat that that's how you become a furry. Is
How are you
you
being
get
bit by
bit.
femboys?
You don't want to
I
ask.
need
on
to
the
know.
neck,
No, I need to know
Facially,
this. No,
obviously.
For the sake of they aren't the
I'm
femboy.
not sure
I
about that one.
found
Chief.
this song. I found the song that we used to play going into the Just Be Club and trolling people. So
Were you able to
this
play that on
song
there?
staple in our soundboards. So I don't know how Wolf will need it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we
is it-
able to?
Let's find out.
Here, I can get right in here.
Is this copywritten?
No, it shouldn't be.
Unlikely.
This is this dude's
Oh, no.
song.
God.
Yeah, you remember this now.
Yes.
Look at the guy that's starting to get with it.
Let me in, I'm trying to fuck.
And then everybody gets in there.
As the waitress is just laughing. If I was at a bar and I heard this,
Oh, that's so dancing.
oh yeah. All right.
Now,
Okay, then.
I wanted to hear more.
one of the best things, the friend that would play that all the time is Dark Goddess, which I think Savage would remember. She is the queen of cursed. She knows Unity and knows how to make things. She has made some of the most crazy, abhorrent things.
I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say something, but my brain turned off.
Yay.
Like with things that she would make. I know she hasn't made this, at least yet. She probably would. Imagine if you had a Rexoium and made it also a pug by fucking up a whole lot of things, putting it in a femboy maid outfit, and then like having it
God.
be covered in just random things. Like one
That could be anything.
yeah, one friend has a avatar that is the space otter, and it has 7 fingers. And
7
so
vaginas.
one of the suggestions that I made to her that she's like, yes, I'm definitely doing this. I'm getting a gathered pile before I release it. We were going through various model like websites and things and gathering every finger, toe, thumb, anything we could, and she was going to have them all stapled up the arm to just have various fingers and have them all still work.
Oh, God.
I don't know why I'm just reminded of Ariel with
imagine
legs.
that at the door as you're in Just Be Club, just ERPing with somebody, and there's just all these fingers. Let me in.
Trying to fuck. Wanna fuck. That is
Anyways, 4 minutes.
that is a an issue with the VR platforms, I guess, is that ERP everywhere. ERP.
It exists, but you don't find it unless you're looking for it, though. I mean,
True. Kind of.
risk.
Not all the time. Sometimes you get people hitting on you in public worlds.
Yeah, sometimes it finds you, but for the most part, that is true.
My eye tracking just
Yeah.
break. My eye tracking
You
broke.
find it all the time. You hop into a public world and you'll find somebody trying to ERP with a child. And that's why we have
God.
Yes, we
crashers.
are, chat.
That's why we have crashers.
Why
Don't
would
do
people?
public
Usually to-
instances.
Why
Yeah.
would people be making pedophiles?
What?
But
Well, yeah, they're trying to
So,
ERP with a
at least-
child.
at least one of my favorite ERP stories for VR chat was 2 friends were ERPing, did not realize they had the session open, and so I hop in. I had 2 avatars, one where it's me normal size, one where I am about this. And
Oh, yeah,
so
that's another cool thing, being
yeah,
able to
they-
resize.
well, yeah, I had to have 2 avatars for it, but they
I mean,
turn
VR chat lets you
around.
do that nowadays.
I am in the
Yeah, that's
doorway
true.
as just a little tiny Shiba, and I just go, "Daddies, I had a nightmare," and just killed the mood.
You would do that.
God.
Well, we don't have much time left, apparently, of our of our regularly scheduled programming, but we
2 minutes.
could ask the VRC people of their final thoughts of Resonite and VR chat. I mean, I know Savage hasn't said that much because he's been not here half the time, and the other
He
half of
showed
the
up late,
time,
coffee hasn't taken effect.
yeah. So we could give him a little bit of time. He can say some things and some stuff because
Yeah,
a little bit of time left.
Just to summarize, I guess, between VR chat and Resonite, I know that they're never going to be the same thing, and they're not supposed to be. And so, with that in mind, I definitely think, and these have already been discussed, but I'm going to reiterate them. The graphics settings is going to be a godsend when it gets implemented. The FPS generally being too low, if we can get it up to 60, preferably 90 as a moonshot, that would be amazing. Rendering, there's a slight delay in the rendering. It's not FPS related. It's just the rendering feels dreamlike, where it renders a little delayed. You'll move your hand or the mouth will move, and there be like an uncanny valley delay on it.
I don't
Avatars,
see that,
the VR.
but
I do.
You've been in long enough that you don't recognize it.
I see the face. Like if I have my nose in there and I turn my head really fast, I got the lag with that. But I know that's all I noticed. But continue.
It's surprisingly, when you're in VR chat and then you go to Resonite and you go back, I think it's more noticeable. VR chat's gotten things to be quite smooth. Avatars, the VRC pipeline is good for, I guess, newer users. Plus, a lot of the publicly available avatars. I think that's how people, they get in, they find an avatar they like, they click it, they can load it, and it works with full body tracking. It just goes immediately. And then full body
not all
tracking.
of them, but yeah,
it's gotten better
but
though.
more than here.
Generally, yeah.
And then full body tracking works, but doesn't play nice with non-humanoid avatars yet. Again, a lot of these are yets, and I see that it's a work in progress, and I love when I hear that the developers are like, yeah, we acknowledge it. It's on the agenda, because that's all you can really ask a small team is you recognize that there's an issue. It's somewhere in the queue to get addressed at some point. With VR chat, I will say I would prefer to stay on VR chat for now because of those issues. However, my goodness, the amount of autonomy and the stuff that you can do in Resonite is honestly what I would hope a VR chat-like platform or a virtual chat platform would achieve. And VR chat's gone hard away from that because they want to make it into what I think is going to be a commercial product one day. It's very well apparent that when they locked down a lot of the scripting and a lot of the other things that you used to be able to do behind easy anti-cheat and just not allowing autonomy to the users, despite their entire platform being content driven from the community, is a sad direction to go, but one that you would imagine a company that wants to one day be monetized would do. And I think that that'll have the exodus to Resonite or Chill Out VR for a lot of users one day. And so having a lot of this stuff addressed when that day happens, where people are just like, okay, VR chat's gone like full commercial and I don't like where it's gone. I think that's when you're going to have a large influx.
Because it happened for a lot of us. EAC hit, all of us bounced to various platforms. A lot of the people that I tend to feel have Stockholm syndrome went back to VR chat.
I know a lot of people too go back because their friends are still there. They don't know where they went, and it's if they go many different platforms, they're like, "But I don't know where my friends are. I'm alone now." And then they all go back to where they know where they can meet their friends, which is VR chat.
VR chat feels for a lot of the user base like a lot of them do not have object permanence, because I want to say at some point in July or August, I got a message of, "Hey, I haven't seen you. What worlds are you hanging out in? Like, are you? I haven't seen you on VR chat lately. What worlds are you hanging in?" I'm like, "I haven't touched VR chat since EAC," and they're like, "Oh, okay."
Damn.
Yeah, and I do wish a lot more people would try a lot more of the other platforms. I still want to hop on CVR now that it's not me hopping on while the servers are on fire. because
Give him a fair chance.
Yeah, I want to give it more than just the 111 minutes. I want to at least get up to 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things with that kind of cracks me up from people not giving things a chance. There have been people that have talked about like VR chat, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like I'm going to do a Q&A on like different things for VR chat and different things for social VR." I'm like, "Cool." And my question each time: what are your opinions of the 10 main VR platforms for social interaction on VR? And people look and they're like, "There's 10 of them?" I'm like, "There's more."
Even I'm like that right now when you say that.
Yeah, there's
overtime.
10 main ones.
Wow.
including Second Life, because Second Life has 2 VR ways to go in.
They have VR ways to go in, but if I recall, the last one real push for it was during Oculus days, and you needed the Oculus runtime, and then it was really weird. Then they kind of stopped.
I think that Firestorm Viewers VR platform runs through Steam, but
Yeah,
it does not work.
it's bad. All right, well, I am dying there for another second. Oh, it's because Jewel. But
Nobody joined.
Jewel. But I guess we can also give Genry a final thing about VRC to Resonate, because you are unlike Savage. You're pretty much saying, "Yeah, Resonate, fuck yeah, I'm here now," and then instead of going back to VRC.
Yeah. For the vast majority of things, I would say yes. Resonate is really great. I love where it's going. I love where it is presently. Even again, as you were saying, there's a lot to improve, and they're planning on improving it. Of course, I mean, mind you, you will always have some dev teams that will say, "I'm planning on whatever," but this dev team is actively pushing things out. They keep saying, they keep saying Fruxius, Recluse, he's always working on things. That's true. Like even earlier today, right before this live stream, an update came out. We all had to update before we even got in
like
here earlier
2
today.
hours before.
And what was it? The 8th was the last one. So just a few days ago, another one.
And then before
every
that,
other day,
before that was the 7th.
Before that was the 7th.
No,
yeah.
this is the speed that it's coming out.
He is actively working on this every single day. I think he didn't push it out during that other live stream a ways back, but like he was here during one of Contact Plus's live stream, and like an hour afterwards, he had one pushed out.
Yeah, like he was sitting here. He was sitting here. Then the first thing he
was
did,
probably sitting here working on it.
well, he was pretty silent until we asked him about Protoflux, and then he put some of our audience members to sleep because he wasn't talking for about 15 minutes, and then he had to be stopped. Like, all right, like.
Yeah.
My point is,
everybody that feels good in this platform, they'll usually be quiet, but if you bring up one thing, they'll talk forever on it.
they'll have a passion.
One of the examples that shows why Savage belongs here. Hey, maybe we should put a lab coat on your avatar. Like, wouldn't you enjoy having that in here?
It's funny because I actually have one in VR chat.
I know you do.
The speed at which you can add assets to things is just mind-boggling. Like, I don't have to go all the way back to add it into Unity from like some kind of a Blender project. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Literally minutes, and you're just like, I have clothes now. Oh, now I have toggles. Oh, now this. Oh, I added this. Oh, I want to add this to my avatar. I'm going to put it on. Like,
I bring up the lab coat though because I want to say like a week and a half ago, he went on a very long rant about how Kage's a fraud because he wears a lab coat out of the lab and hasn't done different things.
So to be fair, obviously the guy cares about the community and his con very, very much. I just for the same reason that I get upset with medical doctors for wearing their lab coats outside of the examination room, it's a faux pas to wear your lab coat outside of a lab because the implication is you have chemicals or biological agents on you that's supposed to stay in the lab. So seeing it outside it grinds my gears.
Yeah, there's also ripping on fellow people within the same field is probably something. If you have people in labs, and I bet you other lab workers will rip on lab workers about dumb shit. Just like mechanics, like mechanics rip on mechanics. Why? Because we're mechanics, and haha, fuck you.
Locksmiths will bust on locksmiths. Everybody just has their opinions on things, what people do right, what people do wrong. And the reason why I call Savage Science Weasel is a molecular biologist.
You're one of the first people to remember it's molecular, not
micro.
Not micro, yeah. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Are you hiring? I'm looking for a job.
Currently, I work for a company of 3 people, but if we get funding, very much looking for new employees. It's just most people don't like to work for free.
Oh,
Glitch does. My girlfriend's within the whole making vaccines for animals thing. That's
cool.
Similar. She works in a lab and she, makes vaccines for chickens. Well, she used to actually make them. Now she's night shift. Now she monitors the cultures overnight and does night shift work. But she used to actually do the pokey
The cultures
pokies.
get a bit quirky at night.
They do.
It's cool. They'll develop vaccines in eggs and stuff as a platform for the technology as well. It's crazy. Yeah.
They develop the vaccines by getting chicken eggs and they inoculate them with the viruses and make vaccines and then they extract them. It's kind of like weird sciencey thing. I'm not that smart. I work on car.
No, weird science has Barbie dolls.
Yeah. You want to get a Barbie Jeep and put it on a dyno.
Do it.
Just put a motorcycle engine in one of those little Barbie hot wheel, like little Power Wheels things, little plastic Power Wheels. Just stick a motorcycle engine in it and just go, yeah.
So I think I'd want to do that, but I know how much those wheels skip. So like, if you put that in, it's going to burn out, and the wheels are just going to shatter.
Yeah, that's why you cut a tire and you wrap a tire shred around it so it has rubber grip. But anyhow, on that note, we have to end. We are overtime at this point. Yeah. Thank you for joining us. I hope to see Savage more within Resonite at some point, whenever following the Fruxious development. Apparently, that is the current things they are working on, is the main things you're griping about. That is like on there, like, we are doing this right now.
Oh. Thank you for having me, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the development. I think that's one of the things that really builds a community up too, is just seeing. It's always exciting to jump on and see something new that's been improved.
Yeah. And the fact that the community of Resonite is the community of previous platform, and then previous platform, all the devs were just like, we're off. We're gonna make this instead, and the entire community of the previous platform gone, just moved. Everybody, and like that shows how tight knit. There's like nobody left on previous platform. They all left to go here.
Yeah.
So like, that's why you don't piss off your community, I guess. But yes, we have to do a good night before we go off on a tangent again and again and again. And again, where's the? So thank you for being here. We'll hope to see you again. I'm gonna have to try to hit this button with this. Come on, hit the button on this little thing.
I'm in desktop mode, right?
I know, but I was hitting it.
Why is the camera on me now?
All right, bye.